Today, I just wanted to talk about some issues I had with Toy Story 5 in the storytelling and in the universe building. Okay, first, I want to talk about how the capabilities of the lily pad seem like wildly inflated. It's based off of a Leapfrog sort of children's iPad. It's not based off like a real iPad, it's based off like a leapfrog. So the idea that this thing can send messages to other people, I just don't think that like the children's tablets are able to do that. That seems like an obvious safety measure that the leapfrog sort of thing already has in place. It's not like a one-to-one, representation of the actual tech, but I don't know, I just think it's taking some creative liberties to help the plot by giving it almost like agenic capabilities, which maybe in the future, sure, maybe the children's leapfrog iPads will be like autonomously sending messages and taking the initiative to do what's best for the child or whatever. But I just don't think that was that realistic. Sort of on that point, I think that the older tech, there's like the trio of tech that is pre LCD screen. It's like the GPS unit, the toilet paper thing, and the camera. Okay, first off, I think that the camera zoom, it's unrealistic. There's a scene where it like it like zooms in on someone from the windowsill, and the definition implied is like incredible. And you know how kids' cameras are, they're like so crappy. I have one right here. I mean, this is like a nice new one, but like the territory of like kids' cameras are horrible. So there's no way it's like zooming in with any sort of meaningful resolution. Further on that point, I think we're being very generous as an audience to give the writers a GPS unit toy that's like designed to like Fisher Price. Like, what 9-year old is playing with a GPS unit? I think again, the writers were like, okay, we need to come up with a trio of old tech that can like work together to solve a problem. So we need someone who can, I don't know, and the toilet has the ability to send messages. Give me a fucking break. Like that thing realistically would make a flushing sound, if anything. Another issue I have with the new Toy Story is this plot point that the moms of the two girls who are friends by the end, I don't know. I'm not buying that your 9-year old receives an anonymous message on her iPad and that's enough for you to drive across town and knock on a stranger's door. I just think that's like basic common sense that like you wouldn't do that and you would be more concerned about your kids communicating with strangers online, and you probably wouldn't act on an anonymous message like that. Further, if someone knocks on your door and they're like, "Hey, we got this message that you have our toys," what 9-year old's mom is going to be like, "Oh yeah, my that must be fucking Blaze, what's her name? Yeah, oh yeah, that must be Blaze, let me go get her." Okay, kind of piggybacking off that, I think that in general, the parenting choices are strange. In the beginning, they're really concerned about screen time. And they set this strict rule when they give it to her, and they're like, okay, today you can figure out the iPad, but then we're going to have like screen time hours. They didn't try to enforce that at all. Beyond the first day, they just gave in to her being completely immersed in this thing 24/7. I don't know. I just don't buy that they would immediately be like, all right, whatever, I guess you need to use your iPad all the time. Also, after getting cyberbullied and all this, they just kind of immediately give this thing back to her. So, questionable parenting choices there. Bullseye the horse acts more like a dog than a horse, which is funny, I guess, but I kind of think it might be lazy character design. I think they could have flexed the horse characteristics more. I think just like the making something act like a puppy, it's been done. You have a whole animal, make it more of a horse, in my opinion. I don't know. Okay, this is a controversial one. Maybe this is a hot take and I could be convinced otherwise. But I think in this film, they specifically gave little Bo Peep, a whole new character, basically, where she's empowered. She's much less of a damsel in distress, which maybe she was in the first few movies for Woody. And that's cool. I am with it. And I think that's probably like smart for the audience of young women or little kids. I think they're a little heavy-handed with it. I think that maybe she could have retained a little more of her Bo Peepiness And I don't know, she's like, it's cool. She's driving the car, the getaway car. She's like wrangling Woody. All of a sudden, Woody is like this fucking goofball, and she's like the glue holding the operation together a little bit. I don't know. Does she need to wear like jeans now? Like she can still be Bo Peep and be an empowered woman, whatever, but she could still like, I don't know. I think like she could have retained more of the Bo Peepiness and still be taken seriously. And maybe by, I don't know. Maybe this one's messy. Okay. Lily pad. Lily pad has two hands, 2 feet. The way it moves around is by like waddling on its ass. Another point that kind of bothered me was like at the end, Jesse comes to the realization that like, oh, like I didn't get abandoned, my kid just grew up. And how many generations of kids does this happen to her? And she like learns it in every single movie. It's like, do you forget in between? Maybe it just like hurts every time, and every time a kid grows up, she forgets. But it's kind of like her arc every single time. I'm not convinced that the spoon toy could exist more than a month. You're telling me this thing looks exactly the same and has held up for 10 years? No. I know the voice actor for Mr. Potato Head died, but no lines for Mr. Potato Head seems crazy. I think that Slinky the dog was underrepresented too. I think he could have had a line or two. I think he had one in the intro. Okay, another thing that bothered me was they kept making jokes about Woody having a bald spot. And I was waiting for some sort of punchline, some sort of resolution, but they just kind of like hit the same note 3 times where his head reflects light. I don't know. I thought maybe at the end Bo would like paint it. Maybe he'd like use it strategically to blind the enemy or whatever it was. Like, but it was kind of just like a half baked joke that they kept making. The age difference between the two kids who end up being friends, Blaze and the main girl, Blaze just seems like a little bit older than her, and like I feel like Blaze would be the one to have grown out of playing, and I don't know. I think they probably just should have made them the same age. I don't see why she has to be like an older kid. Okay, so those are the things that bother me about Toy Story 5. I thought it was fun. I thought it was pretty good. You know, I think all the Rotten Tomatoes scores are a little generous, but I get it. It's good. It's fun. All right. Thanks for watching.